raise money for their trip to Disney World. Each box contains 50 lollipops, and each box costs $20. Create and solve an inequality to find the amount the school has to charge per lollipop to make a profit at least $10 per box. Okay, I'm sure there were many of you able to figure out the price needed per lollipop. Who knows what they need to charge for each lollipop? 50? Okay, so if you charge 50 cents a lollipop, how much would 50 lollipops make? Guys, what's 0.50 times 50? Put it in your calculator. 25. Okay, so if they paid $20 for that box, isn't that just a $5 profit? So you got to make these lollipops more than 50 cents. Did nobody get the answer for this one? Okay, let's try 55. If you charge 55 cents per lollipop, and then you sell off 50 of them, how much money is made off of the 50 lollipops at 55 cents each? What? Okay, so that's how much money you made, but you got to keep in mind you paid 20 bucks for that box. So doesn't that leave $7.50? Is that a profit of $10? No, so they've got to be even higher. It's 60 cents, because think about it. 60 cents times 50 of them would be $30. If you take off the 20 that you paid for it, doesn't that leave $10 left over that you made? So, yes, it is 60 cents per lollipop, but did anybody get the inequality? Like the equation, but not with an equal sign, with a less than or greater than. Okay, well, let's think about it like this. We're starting with 50 lollipops, but isn't it unknown at this time what we're going to charge for them? I mean, now we know because we talked about it. But at the beginning of the problem, isn't it unknown what we're going to charge for each of these 50? So you put X beside, because we don't know the price of each of those 50 yet. But what we do know is that we had to buy all of them to begin with at a cost of $20 per box. How do you represent that? Mine is 20. Because don't you have to take away $20 from your sales, because that's what you paid to get them? Okay, now we want to make a profit of at least 10. So, what inequality symbol represents at least? Greater than or equal to. Because if I say I want at least 10, I want 10 or more, right? So, greater than 10 or equal to 10. So, now that you have the inequality, you can solve it to get this 60 cents. What would we do first? So, now you get 50x is greater than or equal to 30, and then what would you do on both sides? Divide by that 50, so you get x is greater than or equal to 30 over 50, which is 0.6, which is 60 cents. So that's saying each lollipop needs to be either exactly 60 cents or greater if you want to make at least $10 per box. If you charge 60 cents, you're going to make a $10 profit. If you charge more than that, you'll make more than $10 profit. But to make at least $10, each one of them has to be 60 cents. Does that make sense? Any other questions about that problem? Okay, let's look at number 12. Graph the equation y equals 2x minus 5. What do we do first? Right, you have to find, it's in y equals mx plus b form, so what is the slope? 2 over 1, and what's the y-intercept? So just from that information, is our line going to be going up or down? Up. Think about it, its slope is positive 2 over 1, so doesn't that assure that it's going to be going up from left to right because you have a positive slope? But how do you start your line? Right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is your y-intercept, but from there to get to your next point, you rise 2, run 1. And the reason I had to run right 1 is because it's a positive 1, and because I already know my line should be going up, because it's positive. So, and I can continue going up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1. I can do it as many times as I want. But really all that's necessary is 2 points to make a line. Okay, then you connect those points with your line, and that is the line y equals 2x minus 5. It crosses at negative 5, it goes up because it's positive, and it goes up at a rate of 2 over 1. Does that make sense? Okay, let's go to the next page. Graph the linear inequality negative 3x is greater than or equal to 9. This one's a little bit tricky because you assume that that's your mx, but it's not. Anytime there's no y in the equation, it's automatically a vertical line. See how there's no y in this one? That's automatically a vertical line. So you need to isolate the x by dividing by that negative 3 on both sides. Okay, anytime there's no y, you isolate the x. Those cancel, and I'm left with x is less than or equal to negative 3. And why did I have to flip the sign? Right. Now remember, like I said, anytime you just have x and a number, it wants your line to cross the x-axis at that number. Well, to cross the x-axis, you have to have, and only the x-axis, you have to have a vertical line. So I'm going to go left 3 to negative 3, and I'm going to cross the x-axis there. Anytime it's just x and a number, it's always a vertical line. Now, the line is solid because there was an equal to bar in the inequality. Anytime there's an equal to bar, you do a solid line. Now let's talk about where we're going to shade. Okay, if it crosses the x-axis in negative 3, what numbers are less than that? The numbers to the left of it or to the right? To the left. So you'll shade to the left of that line, all the numbers less than negative 3. And all of your solutions are either on the line or in the shaded area. Okay, number 14. Graph the linear inequality, y is less than 3x minus 1. So what do we do first? Right, we have to find the slope and the y-intercept. What is the slope? 3 over 1. So that assures us the line will be going up because it's positive. And then our y-intercept is negative 1. So how do we graph our line? Go down 1 and plot a point, and then what do we do? Or if we wanted some points in quadrant 3, what else could we have done? Down 3, left 1, down 3, left 1, down 3, left 1. Now, is this one going to be dashed or solid? Dashed, because look, there's no equal to bar under that less than sign. So that means it's dashed and no solutions are on that line. Now, as far as shading is concerned, our y-intercept is at negative 1, and it wants you to shade everything less than that. So, is this way less or this way? Below it. All of these numbers are less than negative 1, like negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, so you shade all of that side of the line. And all the solutions are there in the shaded area, but not on the line because it's dashed. Number 15. For this one, what should I take care of first? What about it? Right, it's out of order. Like, that's your B and that's your MX. They're on the correct side. They're both on the right side where they should be, but they just need to be flip-flopped. So it'll be y is greater than, the negative x comes first, and the positive 6 goes second. Now, what is your M? So that lets us know our line's going to go down because it's negative. And then what's our y-intercept? 6. Is it going to be dashed or solid? Dashed. So we're going to go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then down 1, right 1, down 1, right 1, down 1, right 1, down 1, right 1. And once you do down 1, right 1 as much as you can, doesn't it look dashed anyway? Or instead of down 1, right 1, I could have gone up 1, left 1. The exact opposite. And you'll know if you're doing that right because they'll stay in the same line. Okay, now we got to talk about shading. My y-intercept's up here at 6. So they want me to shade numbers greater than that. So are the numbers like 7, 8, 9, 10 greater, or 5, 4, 3, 2, 1? The numbers greater than 6 are 7, 8, 9, 10. So you shade that side of the line where those numbers are on the y-axis. Does that make sense? Yeah. So for this one, the solutions are in the shaded area, but not on the line because it's dashed. Number 16, which graph shows the solutions to the equation x plus y equals 5? What has to be done first for that one? Right. It's not in slope-intercept form, so I'm going to take it over here and rewrite it in slope-intercept form. What do I have to do? Okay, right, that's my mx and it belongs on this side, so I subtract it over there. It's a 1x. It cancels and now I have y equals, right. I mean, when we see it, we see 5 minus 1x, but in the end, it really should be negative 1x first, then the 5. So what's our slope? Which makes us know that our line's going to go down, so that eliminates choice C. And then what's our y-intercept? What's the only line remaining that crosses at positive 5? The second one. It crosses at positive 5 and it goes down. Okay, next page. Okay, Julia solved the inequality negative x over 2 is greater than x plus 4 over 3. Explain the two mistakes that she made in her work below. Okay, well, to get from here to here, she cross multiplied. Negative x times 3 is negative 3x. Okay, see how she did negative x times 3? But then when she went to do the 2 times the x plus 4, what should she have gotten? Right, and she forgot to distribute the 2 to the 4. She left it 4, so there's one mistake. Okay, so she forgot to distribute the 2 to the 4. Okay, then after that, she's going to move the 2x over to the 3x, and she does that correctly. She subtracts it, so it'll cancel over here, and she subtracts it over there and gets negative 5. Then she divides by negative 5 to cancel that, divides by negative 5. So where's her other mistake? She didn't flip the sign. When she divided by this negative 5, that sign should have gone to a less than sign. So that's her other mistake. She forgot to flip the sign when dividing by a negative. Okay, number 18. Identify the property used in each step of solving the equation. From this line to that line, what happens? Right, you can see that they distributed that 4, and that's how they ended up with 4x plus 28. So that's distributive property. Okay, then from this line to this line, don't try to name a property yet. Just tell me what went on from this line to this line. Right. Instead of it being 4x plus 28 plus 3x, now all of a sudden they move the 3x here. And what property says you can move around things when adding? Commutative, property of addition. Symmetric would be like completely flipping sides, like over the equal sign. When it's on the same side, that's just commutative property of addition. It says that you can add in any order. And the reason that she did that is because, look, she wanted the 4x and the 3x to be side by side because she's about to do what to them? Combine them. So combine like terms. And then if you were looking at this, 7x plus 28 equals 17, what would you do to solve for x? When you subtract 28 on both sides? And they did. The 28's gone from the left side. Now all of a sudden 17 is a negative 11 because they subtracted 28. What property is it when you subtract by the same thing on both sides? Property of equality for subtraction. And then if you're at this step, 7x equals negative 11, what would you do? Not yet. divide by 7 on both sides. Think about what you would do. Property of equality for division. Because you would divide by that 7 on both sides, right? Okay. Any questions about that one? Number 19. A rectangle is 8 meters longer than it is wide. Its perimeter is 60 meters. Find its length and its width. It helps me to draw a rectangle so that I have a visual. Okay, currently, do we know how long the length or the width is? No. That means they're unknown, and what do we use for unknowns? Variables, and normally, yes, we use x. Now, so that's your width, and that's your length. We currently don't know what the length is or what the width is, but what do we know about one of them? No, before even that, what do we know about? Right, so for this one, couldn't we at least add 8 to it because we know it's 8 longer than that? Everybody following? Now, since it's a rectangle, isn't this side also x and this side's also x plus 8? Because opposite sides are congruent in a rectangle. Now they tell us the perimeter is 60. How do you find perimeter of a rectangle? Add up all the sides. Area would be multiply like length times width. But perimeter, you add them all up. So when we add up the x plus 8 with the x plus 8 and the x, what does that add up to be? 4x plus 16. Because we have 1x, 2x, 3x, 4x, and 8 plus 8 is 16. And when added up, they should equal the perimeter of 60. So now to solve, what do I do? Subtract 16 on both sides. Stay focused. So 4x equals what? And now to solve for x, we, right, property of equality for division. So x equals, so x is your width, right? So your width is 11, which would make your length 19, because 8 more than that. Now you could always check it by checking that 19 plus 19 plus 11 plus 11 is indeed 60. Okay? Any questions? Alright, number 20, last one. Pay attention, we're almost done. Find 4 consecutive even integers whose sum is 140. What does it mean to be consecutive integers? Right, like back to back, but only even numbers. So like 2, 4, 6, 8. Okay, hold on. So these are 4 consecutive even integers. However, we know that those 4 numbers don't add up to 140, but they can help us to write the equation. Because if I represent 2 with just an x, how would I represent a 4? Right, because if x is a 2, 2 plus 2 is 4. So how would I represent 6? And 8? And together those should add up to 140. Now when we combine like terms on the left side of the equation, we get, right, and that equals 140. And so now to solve for x, and so 4x equals 128. And then what do we do on both sides? Divide by the 4, so x equals 32. Now remember, x was our smallest of the numbers. After that, you have to add 2, which would be 34, then add 4 to 32, which would be 36, then 38, and do those 4 even integers really add up to 140? Yes. I would always check. Okay? Okay, the test is tomorrow. Make sure you study tonight and study your flashcards.